Like the video and subscribe right now, or this doggo will marry your mom. The Yulin magnolia blossoms appear to look like little birds. Why do plants know how birds look like? I'm afraid. Safety standards in the 1960s. Tokyo, the world's largest and most populated city, viewed from above. The RMS Queen Elizabeth pulling into New York with returning servicemen in 1945 after World War II was over. Most of these men went on to create families and brought their stories with them. Danny Hodge, former boxer and pro wrestler, crushing an apple with his bare hand at 80 years old. Found the cliff this cliff bar came from. The number of cell phones found in prison. Navy fighter jet photographed while breaking the sound barrier. Lightning colliding with volcanic eruption. Swimming pool under shade by dirty floodwaters. Found ore with magnets in rivers and lakes. After the extinction of the dinosaurs, there was a turtle that was the size of a car and could eat crocodiles. This $60 million high school football stadium in Texas. A 9,000-year-old skeleton was recently found inside a cave in Cheddar, England, and was nicknamed Cheddar Man. His DNA was tested, and it was discovered that a living relative was teaching history about a 1/2 mile away, tracing back nearly 300 generations. Paul LeRoux was the world's first internet crime boss. He was a computer genius who turned an online prescription drug empire into a cartel with a hand in gun running, assassinations, Somalian piracy, diamond smuggling, North Korean meth dealing, missile guidance system stealing, and more. He did it all from his laptop and hired many of his mercenaries from LinkedIn. A 400-year-old bonsai tree that survived the bombing of Hiroshima. There was an intern who stole moon rocks from NASA, spread the rocks on his bed, and had Shreks on them, resulting in contamination, making the rocks virtually useless to the scientific community. He was sentenced to more than 8 years in prison. These tree planting drones are firing seed missiles into the ground. Less than a year later, they're already 20 inches tall. 10 drones can plant 400,000 trees. Ruby Bridges, the first black child to attend a white school in the South, attended class by herself because parents of white students would not let them learn with her and had to be guarded by US Marshals because she received death threats on a daily basis. Hello neighbor. Couldn't help but notice that your son doesn't look like you. Interesting. Don't think it's possible for you to birth a white baby. Please send documentation that he is yours to my number below or police will be called. Thanks. Rare shot of the moon in front of Earth, taken from a satellite. Corporal Desmond Doss, a combat medic in World War II, saved the lives of 75 men at Hacksaw Ridge, Okinawa. Despite never carrying a gun, Doss disobeyed orders to rescue his fellow soldiers one by one through the night, all while risking his own. The top map shows mysterious cases of people vanishing without a trace. The bottom map shows America's largest cave systems. The remains of astronaut Vladimir Komarov, the man who fell from space, 1967. Here's a reminder of why you should never leave anything that is living or flammable in your car. I wanted to see how hot it actually got in the car, but it got so hot the thermometer exploded, windows were cracked 3 centimeters, and I had the sun visor up. This couple planted over 2 million trees to regrow a forest in 20 years. 2001, 2019. Eruption on Mount Etna, Sicily. Gives the illusion of a phoenix in the sky. If I saw this in my bathroom corner, I'd burn my house down. Stacked pallets for the world's biggest bonfire, Norway, June 2010. House built in 1989 and never renovated. About a month ago, I drew a transparent plastic spoon. A combined amount of 9 hours was worth it in the end. I lost over 350 pounds with diet and exercise. The Roman wine of Spear is the oldest wine of the world that is still liquid. The bottle has been dated between 325 and 350 AD. It was found in 1867 in a grave and is today in a museum. This isn't a photograph, it's a CGI self-portrait designed single-handedly by one guy. In Libya, gasoline is cheaper than water. The price of a liter of gasoline is around $0.03 or $0.11 per gallon. I filled up half a tank, around 40 liters or 10.5 gallons, and it only cost me $1.2. This man is Pedro Rodriguez. He is known for murdering over 70 serial killers. He is known as the perfect psychopath. He was born with brain damage from his father beating his mother whilst Pedro was in her womb. A man named H.H. Holmes renovated a 3-story hotel specifically to kill people. It included stairways and hallways to nowhere, and a maze of over 100 soundproof windowless rooms. He may have killed as many as 200 people here, but only confessed to 27. Many bones of his victims were sold on the black market and to medical schools. This taxidermy piece was found inside a late 19th century French mansion which had been scaled up for over 100 years. This building in Hong Kong. Majingo Island, population of 131, only 0.0008 square miles of dirt. Binti Jua, the gorilla who saved a 3-year-old boy that climbed the wall around her zoo enclosure and fell 18 feet onto concrete below. Binti picked up the child and carried him 59 feet to an access entrance so that personnel could retrieve him. This incident happened in 1996. Unseen for over 2,000 years, archaeologists uncover a mosaic in Zugma, Turkey. A firm has raised $15 million to bring back woolly mammoths from extinction. A friend of mine recently got bit by a rattlesnake while on an evening hike. This was his bill from the hospital. He doesn't think his crappy insurance will cover much of it. US medical claim. Amount billed $244,995.97. An artist that goes by the name of Smug made this in my hometown. Handmade ghost ship. 200 meters deep, while exploring Optimistic Cave in Ukraine, I find these statues. Bald eagle nests are big. Range for scale. This grizzly bear is just sedated to be fitted with a tracking collar in Montana. Look at the size of his foot. Guacamole for days. Bruised banana art using a pin and a comb. No ink is used. This wedding cake. Drug bust recovery. Ginkgo tree in Japan. A Vietnam War American sniper volunteered to crawl for 3 days across 2,000 meters of open field containing an enemy headquarters, took a single shot that killed an NVA general, and then crawled back out without being spotted. And just like that, Mark Cuban wins 2022. Billionaire Mark Cuban has launched a war against Big Pharma. Recently, he started an online pharmacy where over 100 life-saving medications are offered at low costs. He charges a standard 15% markup in an industry that typically sees no less than 100% markup. In just one example, a life-saving leukemia drug with a typical retail price of $9,657 is offered by him for a total of $47. Insurance is not accepted due to the fact that it would force him to work with manufacturers requiring certain price points. Mount Etna in Italy, February 16, 2021. This is Anna Medina. She was the youngest woman to give birth at 5 years old in May 1939. She had a condition known as precocious puberty. This is when sexual development happens at an early age. Giant Buddha of Leshan. China's artificial sun sets the world record after running at 120 million degrees Celsius for 100 seconds. This temperature is 10 times hotter than the sun. So, your package might be a little late. Unknown USPS sorting facility. Did you know? Refrigerator doors are magnetic because kids used to get trapped inside them and suffocate. Before the Refrigerator Safety Act of 1956, doors could only be opened from the outside, and many children died because they found abandoned refrigerators and got stuck inside while playing hide and seek. I bought some suspiciously perfect bananas yesterday. The engineering of rigs in Norway. CIA revealed a heart attack gun in 1975. A battery-operated gun that fires a dart of ice and shellfish toxin. Once inside the body, it would melt, leaving only a small red mark on the victim where it entered. The official cause of death would always be a heart attack. Long before color-sensitive film was invented, Russian photographer Sergei Prokudin-Gorsky took 3 individual black and white photos, each with a filter, red, blue, and green, to create high-quality photos in full color. This self-portrait is over 108 years old. 10-year-old Telly Smith saved hundreds of people when she recognized the signs of a tsunami, which she had just learned in geography class just 2 weeks earlier. At first her parents didn't believe her, but she was adamant, and thus they managed to evacuate the beach before the wave hit. Incredible sidewalk art. Argentovus magnificens, wingspan 7.5 meters, the biggest bird that was able to fly through the skies, went extinct 5 million years ago. Oldest surviving diving suit, 18th century. I guess that even the sharks got scared. Meet Navy SEAL Mike Day. In 2007, he was shot 27 times by 4 Al-Qaeda gunmen and was also hit by grenade shrapnel. He managed to kill all 4 of the gunmen and make it to the extraction helicopter. He recovered and now lives with his wife and daughters. Forgotten pinhole camera made from a beer can accidentally captures 8-year photo of the sun, making it the longest exposure photograph ever taken. This is Pando, but it isn't a forest, it's all one tree. Each trunk of the quaking aspen is genetically identical and connected by a single root system that's at least 80,000 years old, which means it's one of the biggest and oldest living things on Earth. The Three Gorges Dam in China, which required 510,000 tons of steel to construct and generates 11 times more power than the Hoover Dam, is so massive that it slowed the rotation of the Earth. Countries with the most English speakers. 1. USA. 2. India. 3. Pakistan. 4. Nigeria. 5. Philippines. 6. United Kingdom. After needing 13 liters of blood for a surgery at the age of 13, a man named James Harrison pledged to donate blood once he turned 18. It was discovered that his blood contained a rare antigen which cured rhesus disease. He has donated blood a record 1,000 times and saved 2 million lives. Every December 25th, a town in Peru celebrates Takanaka. Men, women, and children settle grudges from the past year by calling each other out and having a fist fight. Then everybody goes drinking to numb the pain and move on to a new year. When the train always stops in exactly the same place, the air conditioner always drips in exactly the same place, and a tiny ecosystem is born. Did you know? Corrections Corporation of America, the largest for-profit prison company in America, spends nearly $1 million a year against cannabis legalization. This is their official reason why changes with respect to drugs and controlled substances could affect the number of persons arrested, convicted, and sentenced, thereby potentially reducing demand for correctional facilities to house them. Jane Hilliard was involved in a car accident in sub-zero temperatures. She walked to a friend's house 2 miles away, but collapsed 15 feet outside of the door. Temperatures dropped to -22 degrees Fahrenheit, and she was found frozen solid at 7 a.m. after 6 hours in cold. Doctors could not administer a hypodermic needle because her skin was too hard to pierce. On top of that, nobody could get an accurate reading of her temperature because her body temperature was so low. At one point, her heartbeat was as slow as 12 beats per minute. Doctors resorted to wrapping her in an electric blanket to help her defrost. After spending 49 days in hospital, she miraculously revived and has no brain damage. The Avengers were also a team of Jewish assassins who hunted Nazi war criminals after World War II. In 2019, a 30-year-old Swedish woman named Emma Scholes walked through fire to save her 6 children from their burning house. She ran from floor to floor, room to room to get the kids out, while suffering third-degree burns in 93% of her body. For several weeks, she hovered between life and death, but eventually survived. When talking about the incident, she said, "I thought I had to get the kids out, then I could die." CEOs of 7 major tobacco corporations testifying under oath that nicotine does not cause addiction. 1994. At a prison facility in Nuuk, Greenland, some inmates reportedly own the keys to their own cells to afford them privacy. Others may leave the premises during the day to go to work or school. Perhaps surprisingly, inmates are even allowed to go hunting with rifles to shoot birds and seals. In 1980, the FBI formed a fake company and attempted to bribe members of Congress. Nearly 25% of those tested accepted the bribe and were convicted. Jeffrey Dahmer's attempted to make Shrek's zombies by drilling holes into their heads while they were still alive and pouring acid into the holes. 800-year-old stave church made entirely from wood without a single nail in 1181. Norway. Titanoboa aerogenensis is the largest snake ever discovered and lived about 60 million years ago in northeastern Colombia during the Middle to Late Pliocene epoch, a 10 million year period immediately following the Cretaceous Paleogene extinction event. They could grow up to 12.8 meters, 42 feet, long and reach a weight of 1,135 kilograms, 2,500 pounds. Did you know? Juan Catalan spent nearly 6 months in jail for the murder of a teenage girl until his lawyer found unused footage from HBO's Curb Your Enthusiasm that proved he'd been at a Dodgers game with his 6-year-old daughter. Cluster headaches, also known as suicide headaches, are described as one of the most painful things humans can go through. Women say the pain is worse than childbirth, and soldiers say they would rather step on another landmine than have another episode. A Japanese soldier was stranded on a island for 30 years, not knowing that World War II had ended for 30 years. His commander came to the island to personally dismiss him in 1974. This Russian stadium didn't meet FIFA's regulation on capacity, so they added 18,000 seats in the most terrifying way possible. In February, the Takini Hot Pools in Whitehorse, Canada host a hair freezing contest. Visitors dunk their hair in hot water and then let it freeze in the chilly air above. In 1921, a group of workers in a fertilizer factory stuck dynamite in a 4,500-ton block of hardened ammonium nitrate to loosen it up. The explosion killed 500 people and destroyed 80% of the surrounding homes. Did you know? In 1986, a cave was unearthed in Romania that had been isolated from the rest of the world for over 5 million years. Moval Cave's atmosphere is just 10% oxygen and has no discernible food source, but 48 species live there, including 33 that exist nowhere else in the world. The Russian soldier who called in an airstrike on himself after he was surrounded by ISIS fighters has now been revealed as 25-year-old Alexander Prokhorenko. It's also been revealed that he was expecting a baby with his wife. I'm surrounded. They are outside. I don't want them to take me and parade me. Conduct the airstrike. They will make a mockery of me in this uniform. I want to die with dignity and take all these bastards with me. Please, my last wish. Conduct the airstrike. They will kill me either way. This is the end, Commander. Thank you. Tell my family and my country I love them. Tell them I was brave and I fought until I could no longer. Please take care of my family. Avenge my death. Goodbye, Commander. Tell my family I love them. In Russia in 1997, a poacher shot and wounded a tiger and stole part of its recent kill. The tiger later found the poacher's cabin, waited at least 12 hours for him come home, then killed and ate him. This is one of the most unbelievable passages I've ever read. A $16,752 electric bill for a 63-year-old retiree, bankrupting him just to survive a storm in the richest country on earth. My savings is gone, said Scott Willoughby, a 63-year-old army veteran who lives on social security payments in a Dallas suburb. He said he had nearly emptied his savings account so that he would be able to pay the $16,752 electric bill charged to his credit card 70 times what he usually pays for all of his utilities combined. There's nothing I can do about it, but it's broken me. 1985, 2016. Both these women gave birth on the same day. The woman on the left, Dr. Amanda Hess, was in hospital preparing to give birth to her baby when she overheard the woman on the right, Lee Halliday Johnson, deep in labor needing serious help. The on-call doctor was still en route, so Amanda stepped in and delivered Lee's baby. She then went back to her ward and gave birth to her own baby. Let's play a game. You're now the president. Make a change to your country. First reply will choose how it will backfire. Featured comment. Max Nutty. Dad, were you on your Xbox? Me. No. Dad, don't lie. It's still warm. Me. Were you on Mom? She's still warm. Dad. Me. Dad, have a great day. If you want to be featured in the next video, use hashtag dankness.